There we go.
All right. Okay. All right, we're going to say it again. This morning, we're going to be covering 1005 Module A. HVACR. HVACR, heat and air conditioning, refrigeration, ventilation, heating. What is air conditioning? When somebody says air conditioning, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Climate control.
That's it. It hasn't got just to do with cooling things off. It has to do with the whole environment that you're controlling. Okay? What I mean by that, yep, the temperature may be one thing, but what if it's real moist inside the building or inside the room that you're in? It's not comfortable. Okay? So we also have to control moisture. We have to control whether it's hot or cold. What about sound? If you got a unit that every time it comes on you can't hear anything, or you have to turn up the TV, so to speak. Then when it goes off you have to turn the TV back down. That system has a problem. It was either not installed properly, not designed properly, or it's got a problem. So we look at that too. Don't think or limit yourself to thinking that it's all about air conditioning or making things cooler alone. Okay? If you get into the refrigeration end, then you'll have to learn what products store best, or temperatures that you need to store the product at. Ice cream is a good example. Okay? Ice cream starts melting somewhere around 15 degrees. Okay? So if you got something that's well below freezing, but it's not down at the right temperature, you may wind up with some ice cream going down the drain. So keep those in mind. Okay. One of the areas that has really been looked upon in the last few years is ventilation. Now, back in the 70s, when we had a energy crisis once before, everybody started sealing up all the windows and all the doors. You seen plastic go on, windows that weren't being used. You seen all kind of seals being put on. It got to the point on a new house that if you opened up the front door, the back door would open up too, or if you shut the front door, it might rattle the windows in the house. Everything was so tight. The buildings were built that way. Windows didn't open up anymore. I mean, they were sealed. Everything was dependent upon the mechanical ventilation air conditioning system. Only one problem. Nobody thought about fresh air. One person gets sick, the whole building come down with the same thing. Everybody in the building would get sick. So, a lot of thought was put into that, and they come up with some guidelines for ventilation. Today we have to look at those issues too. One of the ways to clean up the air is by dilution. A little saying is the solution to pollution is dilution, meaning that you bring in extra air. Only one problem. What if you got a situation that the air outside is actually dirtier than the air inside the building? Then you've got to look at some filterization. So I just pointed out a lot of different things that's out here in this field. When you think about what can I do in this field, most people think, okay, I'm going to be a service person, or I'm going to do installation. Please don't limit your thoughts to that. There's controls out there. That's a field in itself. The electronics of today have really come forward. We have buildings that, in all honesty, I can go on one of these computers anywhere in the world, and there are several buildings over here on the campus that I can tell you whether the lights are on. I can cut the lights off. I can tell you what the temperature in the room is. I can tell you what the equipment is doing. I can tell you how many amps or how much power that building is using at any one moment. And I don't have to be, like I said, I don't have to be there. Now, it's not going to replace the hands-on. I may be able to tell you what's going on, but I can't turn the wrench from 1,000 miles away. So there's always going to be a need for service. I don't see that ever not happening. Got to tell the story. When I grew up, some of the schools didn't have air conditioning. If you got wise to it, you found a seat by the window. And the reason you got a seat by the window is because most of the time the heaters were on the outside walls. So you could take advantage of the heat in the wintertime, and you could take advantage of the breeze from the window in the summertime. Today, can you imagine a school without air conditioning? Better than that, can you imagine someone building a house today and deciding that they didn't want to put air conditioning in? Do you think that it would even, do you think you'd have a chance at ever reselling that house? Probably not. Now, I doubt very seriously if the bank would even finance it if you told them that I'm not going to put air conditioning in that house. So, what's it come down to? What we get used to,
Wait a minute.
comfort-wise, we're going to keep. And the bottom line is, when my mom and dad was at home, if they turned the air conditioner on, we were happy kids. We had air conditioning, but my dad didn't run it. You know, it was rare occasions. We got company coming over this weekend. We may turn the air conditioner on. Oh, right. You know, but the thing about it is, you can survive without it, but who wants to? And I see this future of this field doing nothing but getting better and better and better. Some reports that I've read talk about the need for people with the knowledge to be able to repair. When they talk about numbers, they say that we're not going to keep up with trained technicians or any other part of the field. We're just not going to keep up. There's estimated, I think it was something like 10,000 expected or required jobs coming up within the next something like 5 years throughout this nation in this field. And I don't know where they come up with those estimates, and I kind of wonder how they do that. But you know, we think about, okay, here's the economy, and it's been in a slump, and I know that new houses has not been the big thing on the market, but I'll tell you, the ones that's there, people that have their house, they're going to have their air conditioning and heating. So, and I've seen this before. When things get tough, then what happens is people repair the units. When money's pretty free, people will replace their units. So there's always some work, always has been. Look at me, I don't go hungry, never have. Okay. A couple of other things that we're going to get into is talking a little bit about being professional in this field, and then we're going to jump to safety. D, we need to cut it there, right?
Anytime.
Okay.
I'll stop.